Yes, sir.
Like the mic.
Yeah, of course.
In fact, I don't even think I need it.
Oh, you have to have a mic.
My name is Victor Gonzalez. I'm the
Victor, will you take the mic, please? Thank you. Yeah.
If I blow anybody's ear, jumps out.
No, that's okay.
My name is Victor Gonzalez. I'm the president of the Transport Workers Union, Local 501. At TWU at LaGuardia and part of the association. 80% of the workforce at LaGuardia is TWU, IAM, and part of the association.
Sure.
We have numerous questions we'd like to ask.
Sure.
I'd like to let you know that our executive board is here. The majority of our executive board of Local 501. Gary Peterson, the Vice President of the International here, and our International President, John Salmerson, is also here.
John, thank you for being here.
So if I may, I have numerous questions on a few topics. Since
Sure.
we are 80%, I hope you can engage us in all of the questions.
Yeah.
The American Airlines VP, I don't know if it's a flight schedule. And before I get into questions, I just want to say that our relationship from 501 with Loretta at LaGuardia and Mike McKenna is, we have an outstanding rapport. So whatever questions I engage you with have no reflection on them.
Thanks, Mike, and thanks, Loretta. I appreciate that. And
the American Airlines.
I know where this one's coming to. Yes.
Vasu
Raja. Yeah.
Is he still employed at American Airlines?
Yes.
Then the question is, after seeing him at JFK Town Hall meeting a few weeks ago when he dropped over 30 F-bombs in his presentation, why is he still employed at American, and is this the new standard at American?
No, it's not the new standard at American, and I apologize on behalf of Vasu and anybody that he may have offended. I'll apologize there. He's a colorful guy, and he gets very animated. And yeah, I know, and I definitely don't want our sessions to be vulgarity strewn interactions. That doesn't serve anybody very well. But I will say that in terms of the work that our scheduling team does, I can guarantee you that we're as good as anybody in the business. But that does not, if there's any vulgarities that are being thrown out, then I should go back and talk to Vasu. So thank you.
Pertaining to negotiations, I could speak. I would assume our TW membership probably agrees with me as a whole, or at least 90%. We look at it as TW versus American greed at this time when we look at negotiations. Since 2003, TW members at American have sacrificed so much, so many jobs, and through bankruptcy, lost our retiree medical, had our pensions frozen, basically worked for free at the cost of over 2 years worth of each member's salary. Our members have been loyal and dedicated to the company. So the question is, why is American not bargaining in good faith with the association in negotiations, and where is American's loyalty and dedication to its employees?
Thanks, Victor, for the question. Okay, so we'll just I'll give you my views on negotiations, and the others can give their views as well. But look, we're now 5 years into the merger, and we clearly haven't made the progress that we've wanted to. Quite frankly, we haven't made the progress we wanted to, over those 5 years as well. So you take a look at what happened, post merger, and there were exit from bankruptcy type adjustments that were made, and the IAM actually negotiated a contract. And I don't know if I know we've got IAM members here. The IAM negotiated a contract. Yeah, no, of course. But the IAM negotiated a contract even post merger. And where we found ourselves is, first off, getting together to actually negotiate, which took some time. We're doing something new, in that bringing the TWU and the IAM together in the association. The merger happened at the end of 2013. We really weren't able to sit down until 2015. But nobody's fault, right? But it took time to get negotiating parties ready to talk. We tried to make progress. 2016 rolls around. One thing I knew in 2016 was that the biggest thing people are hurt by is that the vast majority of the company had already received sizable pay increases, over and above what came out of bankruptcy and what came out of the IAM initial agreement. So we worked with the TWU and the IAM to enable pay increases that averaged 23% in 2016 that, really were, not tied to a formal contract. We did that, fortunately, because otherwise, people would all be, sitting here with, 5, 10, 15, 20,000, dollars lighter a year in terms of pay.
I hate to interrupt, you also got the cross-utilization
So, Victor,
out of that, which you need.
So, Victor,
it wasn't really a gift.
So, Victor, but let me go back. Okay, so it is true. We received the Helping Hands, which is a great thing. So, but the Helping Hands, right? Don't forget that we already had Helping Hands with the IAM, right? So that was already done. And then, in terms of the Helping Hands that we need and we want to run the airline effectively, right? We did that in cooperation for also job protection, which was for if it was ever invoked. And then also, don't forget, we're going to run the airline somehow. And that also meant that Helping Hands with job protection, it meant that we didn't have to go through and then reassign people, all over the system when we changed the schedule. So I appreciate the Helping Hands. It did some good. It really did. But by the same token, okay, please, the 23% pay increase on average, it did do something, but by no means did it, was it a one-for-one trade? Okay, that's my opinion. Others may disagree. Okay, so we went through that, and then we got into 2017 and 2018, where, look, we still weren't making the progress we needed to. And so my view is the company put on comprehensive, proposals in those time periods on multiple occasions that led the industry in terms of pay. Now, you can say, God, hey, I gave up so much in pre-bankruptcy or in the 90s or, at 2000, I had this, that, and the other thing. But the competitive dynamics of the industry, okay, I believe, we put on proposals that still maintained the industry-leading scope. More employees at American Airlines that are represented, that are working fleet and that are working maintenance than any other commercial airline, not just today, but any other commercial airline in the future forever. So that was put on the table, my feeling. It may not have been enough, and you got great negotiators. We went on, and then we found ourselves at the end of this year, after putting on another comprehensive proposal, and we found ourselves in a situation where we didn't think we were going to get to an agreement. So we went to the NMB, and we asked for help with mediation to get somebody that's more neutral and objective to say, hey, company, are you out of line? And we did that. We received, the approval from the NMB, and of course, the association said, hey, we're in on that. We want to do that. We set negotiating dates. Those negotiating dates were set from kind of December all the way through April. And the mediators that were assigned to our case, they more or less said, hey, we have a date firm because you know what? If people don't feel like there is an end date, there's something to push them to a conclusion, nothing happens. We went through those negotiations, and I do believe that there's some progress made, no doubt. But I also believe that the company, after successive proposals on the table, I believe that we have a proposal that benefits everyone. Now, again, somebody is going to say, hey, it's not enough. I got it. But with the mediators, they said, hey, if we're not close enough, okay, there's a few paths that we can go down. One is we get a deal. Second deal is we can say, hey, there's no more negotiating sessions. And the third is, we can be released for, self-help at some point. The mediators chose to say, hey, you know what? There's not enough progress made. And that progress says, you guys all got to go back and think. And when they do that, it's generally, it's my opinion, it's generally a reflection that the NMB is saying, hey, there's a really good deal there. And we ought to be able to, to move, closer to getting that done. That's not, nobody told me that, but in history, this is something that is unique for a company to do, to go ask for mediation, and we did that. So where are we at today, right? We're still under, the NMB in terms of oversight of our negotiations. Doesn't stop us from talking, but there have not been any additional dates set, and I don't know when there will be.
Thank you. That was a long-winded
Right. Victor, I apologize. Right.
On one question.
Right.
I'm not going to respond
Okay.
directly to what you said, but I do have one more question on
Sure.
negotiations. American Airlines makes billions in profits,
Yeah.
and Doug Parker stated we would never lose money again.
Yeah.
So the question is, why does American offer these union-busting proposals and continue over 3 years to offer contract proposals that will eliminate, outsource thousands of jobs immediately and into the future? The
Okay.
company is making billions in profit without these concessionary demands that you are requesting of us. So why do you need a concessionary contract from the association?
Victor, thank you for that. And I also, again, to everybody, I appreciate the, look, I know you're trying to do right by the team and get as much, and truly, what people deserve. So there's never going to be, in terms of, interaction, right? I've just got to be as matter of fact with you as I possibly can.
Please,
Okay.
it's a very simple question.
Right.
You're making billions
Okay.
of dollars without concessions from us. You're looking to eliminate our jobs.
Okay.
So why do you need to,
Okay.
where's the loyalty and the dedication to the workers?
Okay.
You're looking for concessions,
Okay.
period, and you're making billions without.
Okay. Well, thanks, Victor. And
I'm
here.
not sure you caught it the first time. I was reading, maybe I read it.
No. It's. I have a fundamental difference of opinion, and that's right, and that's the thing, and that's where we got.
American greed.
Let's.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Continue.
All right. So my view on where we stand, okay, and my view at the negotiating table, and my view that I've talked to the mediators about as well, is this. Okay, American Airlines made roughly $3 billion last year, right? That's an exceptional income for American Airlines, and when you compare it to history, it's incredibly solid, right? My belief is that we lag in terms of profitability, versus our competition, and now as United and Delta, that's my belief. Because it's true, and if you take a look at our margins and absolute profitability, we lag Delta and United. So I want to set that as a backdrop. We make billions of dollars, that's a good thing. But making that kind of money, I think, is something that we have to do, right, to ultimately be able to deliver on our obligations to our team and all of you, all of us. It's everybody. And so when we sit down and say, hey, look, here's where we're at, and I know that there's going to be improvements, I do believe that our company, when joined, all working in the same direction, right, I think we can do a lot better than we are today. I really do. Okay, so there shouldn't be a reason why $3 billion is the cap. Shouldn't be a reason why we can't do more and share more into the future, but we're not there yet. So when I take a look at that and then say, okay, what's right by every team member, in the company, right? Because we got 130,000 people, and while the association is huge, it's 25, 30,000 people, that is represented, by the association. When I take a look at that and think, okay, we have a deal, and let me respond to a couple of the points. What we've put on the table is going to cost the company hundreds of millions of dollars a year, more than we're paying today. Hundreds of millions of dollars more today per year, not just this year, but next year, the next year, forever. So I start with, okay, on an individual basis, in some places, somebody may be able to say, I'm not getting the same medical, I'm not getting the same this or that. On an individual basis, you may be able to say that. But if you take a look, you can't say that by definition, the company giving more, is concessionary. Now, let's go into the laying off thousands or whatever it is that people are telling you. This is where I have concerns, because this means that we're not communicating at the table. First off, does everybody understand that the company has put on the table an unprecedented, never before done proposal to protect the association's members in terms of a job guarantee in location and classification? Does everybody understand that? What we have signed up for.
I don't understand that. And I don't get it.
John, it's the proposal on the table. So hold on a second, Gary.
I'm going to answer it. So you're going to remove the force majeure language out of the contract.
No, Gary, I'm not going to.
Okay, so then the answer is no.
So Gary,
Robert, but this is the issue.
Gary,
Okay.
please.
You want to debate it. I'm here to debate it.
I'm not. I'm just.
Okay,
I want.
I want to be clear.
Okay.
Okay, you have force majeure language on the table.
Force majeure language is in every contract that
I
anybody
understand.
ever signs.
I understand.
And that's
2003.
That's in your.
In 2003,
Right,
SARS was described as an epidemic at Northwest Airlines,
Right.
where you were at, and you invoked force majeure, correct? And laid off 1,000 people, and they had job security. Yes or no?
I don't recall that.
The answer is yes.
Gary?
The answer is yes.
Gary?
And guess what? Can
Right.
you do it again under force majeure? And are we station and system protected and guaranteed a job? Yes or no?
Gary, I will tell you this one more time, okay? No other person in this company, okay, has job protection in classification and location, full stop, okay? Now, let me go on from there, okay? So no other person has that, whether you say, hey, force majeure, which is, act of God, company in peril, type situation. So let me go on from there. We have said, and this is consistent with the proposals that are on the table, that now and into the future, forevermore, American Airlines, with the scope clauses that we have on the table, will employ more people than any other airline in these skill sets. It's just plain and simple. No other airline.
It's a union busting proposal. You're
not
asking us to sell our children and our grandchildren. They'll never be part of Local 501 down the road, or 591, or part of the association. That's what the goal is, to eliminate the union workforce.
Why would you say that?
Because that's what it is. When someone walks out the door, you're saying they can continue working. When they walk out the door, you'll be replacing them with an outsourced worker. That's my understanding of it.
But I think your understanding, again, you guys, and I want to spend a little bit more time on this, then we'll get to any other questions, because I think it's
I didn't
important.
realize my two questions were going to take up that.
No. These are questions that I know everybody's asking. But let me go back to, again, the point about concessionary bargaining, okay? Concessionary bargaining would suggest that I am asking you to give me something, right? I'm asking you to, instead of, today's workforce, being X, or, today's payroll being Y, we are offering more money, more. It's more of an expense for the company.
Eliminate our unions down the road.
But how can you say that when? How can you say that when the very proposals that we're talking about, right, will ensure that more of your colleagues, right, will work here, and everybody that's working here today are protected, and then into the future, we are protecting jobs. There is a fundamental disconnect.
I can answer it. You're going from 7% outsourcing and line maintenance to 12. That's 500,000 man hours, increasing. Those jobs don't get replaced. You've removed your floor and base maintenance to what would be based around work. You asked the question, now let me finish.
Yeah.
Okay? You removed the floor and base maintenance that you initially proposed. You've taken that off the table and said now we can go to the lowest common denominator. Our Title II group, their job, it says right in your proposal, somebody else can do their job, and as they go out the door, you won't replace them. And the when and where directed language has been said to us clearly across the table, articulated, that when and where directed does mean that you can get somebody else to replace the people as they leave. Now, that flies in the face of everything you just said. Let me go back to our proposal, because you've decided to put half of what is a working document out, and today we'll put out your proposal and ours, okay?
Yeah.
So everybody sees where we started,
Right,
not the story of where we're at.
And Gary, I'll tell
Okay.
you where I'm at. I can't. The proposal that we're talking about, that I've seen, that adds from where we're at today, which I know is a good thing. In some people's view, it may be, but to add.
Finish.
Right.
Finish, because I'm going to say what's been
Just
said
go
at
ahead.
the table
Just
where
go
you're
ahead.
not at.
Okay,
The proposal on the table from the
Okay.
association
Yeah.
is to maintain the current headcount we have. Where
Okay.
the company feels it needs it,
Right.
we're willing to discuss that. We were open to that. We are open to that. But it is not a union jobs killing proposal, and there's nobody in our group that is looking for that. So what your proposal is in essence exactly what Victor said. For every person that goes out the door, your proposal allows you to replace us with a vendor in every category.
Gary,
If
okay.
here's what you keep cutting me off, and I'm going to finish.
You can-
If
you
you're
can finish,
telling
right.
me I'm wrong, then come to the table, sit at the table, and negotiate the language that you're saying in front of all these people exists.
Okay.
Because there's a clear disconnect between your team and our team and what we're proposing and what's going in the 2 ears on your head
Yeah.
and what's being said to the 6 sets of ears sitting at that table.
Okay.
And one set that just definitively doesn't want to hear what we're saying.
Right.
So if it's a net neutral head count equation
Right.
where you have the ability, and we've offered that,
Right.
where you have the ability to put the people where you need them,
Right.
that's the proposal. And
Yeah.
and we should be significantly larger than United and Delta because of the significant size difference of American to United and Delta. And you can't dispute that disparity.
No, and Gary, to that point, and I appreciate that, we have more mechanics per aircraft than others do too. So we're better on a ratio basis too. So that's I appreciate. Hey, Gary, just
Again, you
Okay.
make a statement, you don't want me to respond. Let's sit down and discuss that
Okay.
man to man with
Yeah.
numbers from United.
Right.
And we'll compare, and then you can tell me where they are to where you are based on the size of the airline.
Ga-
Based on the size of the airline.
Gary, I will sign United's contract.
At the size they are today.
I will sign United's contract. I will sign United's contract and work rules today. I will.
Make that proposal.
United's.
We'd like to see it.
Gary, that would result in thousands and thousands of job losses.
That's your thought.
It would. Why would I want to? Why would I ever propose something like that? That would be.
But your proposal does that today.
That's not true. So look, we're going to go back and forth. A couple.
All right, Robert, can I
Victor,
interrupt you? I only had 2 questions. I didn't think it was going to roll
Victor,
around that.
Victor,
Can we
hold-
change
hold-
course? Can I
Victor,
move on
yes,
to
we
the-
can. 1 second here, okay? Because I want to get back to one thing that has been, something that I don't agree with either, and you may say, hey, that this is a problem, but you mentioned that contract language says from 7% that we want to up it from 12%. Okay, here's the contract language today. Today, the IAM contract for line maintenance allows 0. Okay, 0 international line maintenance. Okay, now Legacy U.S. Airways, right, was a predominantly U.S.-based carrier with a little bit of European travel. Okay, things that are 8 hours over, 9 hours over, 9 hours back. It works on an overnight. Maintenance works here. Okay, American Airlines, right, had 15% of line maintenance. I got you. Maintenance spend or headcount, however you want to put it. Legacy American Airlines, right? International carrier, flew to Asia, flies to Asia, flies to South America, flies all over the place. We also have to take a look at combining those airlines and doing it in a way that you can actually operate the airline. So if we fly to South America and we want to get bigger in South America, right? Or if we want to get bigger in Asia, what happens is when you fly aircraft down to South America, to fly the schedule people want to fly, what does it mean? It means the aircraft sit there for 8 or 9 hours. It's not like in Europe where the aircraft goes and comes back, right? In Asia, you have the same thing. And so all we are simply trying to do, right, is ensure that we have the ability to run this airline. And I believe that 15% allows you to do it. And oh, by the way, we're a global airline. We're a global airline in which, 25% of our passengers are international based. We have a large contingent of employees that are internationally based. And a lot of that work that we've said, it needs to be part of what we're calling outsourcing, they're actually American Airlines employees.
Which is outside the scope of our agreement today.
I understand.
And it was in bankruptcy where these concessions were taken
Yeah.
from our group, and you are up against the cap in line maintenance outsourcing today, and you want more.